Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also put an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So, do that now. Okay, we have Venus. So Venus is actually going to be in your sixth house of work, daily routine for the first couple weeks of August, and then it's actually going to move into the sign of Libra, which is your house of relationships, partnerships, contracts. All right, we have Cancer, so for you guys, that's your fourth house of home, family. And we have 2, so that's the second house of finances, that's Taurus. We have Uranus there, of course. All right, so we'll keep those in mind. It looks like there could be a lot of focus around your finances and home this month, but let's get started with the main spread. All right, in the main situation, a lot of cards came up. As you can see, we have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy, the 8 of Cups, which is Pisces energy, 6 of Cups, Scorpio energy, 5 of Wands, Leo energy, and King of Swords, Aquarius energy. So a whole lot going on here. But one way I could see this playing out could just be saying that if you guys have really been just, obsessively focusing on your careers and work lives, this month you actually might be considering moving on to something that you find more fulfilling on a spiritual level. Could be something that maybe you had a passion for when you were a child, and maybe you're reconnecting with that now. And it could be quite the competitive field, but with the King of Swords shown up here, I feel like this is saying that you'll probably have a pretty high level of competency when it comes to this field, so it's just a matter of actually taking hold of that and moving forward with it. For others of you, this could just be saying if maybe there was some kind of addiction, or just, where you've been pulled away from other areas of your life because you were so focused on one goal. Could just be saying that this month you might be leaving that behind and maybe reconnecting with the people that matter to you. So, for example, maybe reconnecting with family members or friends that you haven't seen in a long time, possibly a romantic connection as well. And maybe there was some conflict around that, right? And it could even be saying that here in that regard, if this is another person, you might be met with a bit of a cold, standoffish vibe from them. But either way, it looks like you would be able to actually smooth things over with some effort. All right, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ace of Cups. So for some of you, this could just be saying that, there is new opportunities that are waiting for you, but the blockage could be that you might have to leave that old thing behind, right? And that could be why we're seeing that 8 of Cups energy underneath the Devil. For others of you, this could just be saying, if there's a connection you have to leave behind as well. Could be the same concept there, where it could just be saying that, there might be something new waiting for you, but the longer you continue to hold on to something that deep down you might feel like you've outgrown, could just be saying that could be blocking that from you. And again, like I said, for those of you, if this is maybe something where you've been absent in someone's lives, possibly multiple people's lives, because you were just so focused on some other area of life, this could just be saying that there is the opportunity for a new start there, but you need to actually make it happen. All right, the foundation position, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here, so another indicator that you could have just had a lot of focus on your work lives, given that this is the 6th house for you guys. And like I said, we're going to have Venus there for the first half of August. Mars is going to be there pretty much the entire month. So it could just be saying that naturally you might have a lot of focus on that area of life. But at the same time, too, I often see this card as more of an entrepreneurial energy. So especially for those of you where that resonated, where I said, if you've been just focused on one area of your career and maybe feeling like you want to move on to something that speaks to you on a more of a spiritual level, this could represent you guys actually putting in work toward your own business, for example. All right. In the past position, we have the 2 of Swords. So this tells me that you guys have probably been thinking about this for quite some time. This is Libra energy here. And I feel like this is saying that, maybe on the one hand, you're really just trying to make the decision based strictly on logic, because we do see the water in the background, which to me represents emotions, of course. The moon also is another indicator of emotions. We see that they have their arms crossed over their heart, another indicator that could point to emotions. And then the blindfolds. I feel like this is you guys that, strictly trying to make a decision based on logic. Maybe you might have even seen some pros and cons of both options. So, for example, maybe if you have been in a traditional career, maybe there's been financial success there, right? So that would be a pro in your mind. You'd be like, all right, well, it does afford me the ability to do a lot of things I like to do. But at the same time, if I pursue this other path that I'm more passionate about, yeah, maybe the financial security won't be as heavy, but at the same time, I'll just feel more connected to what I'm doing. So you could have just been going back and forth with those kinds of thoughts. All right. In the present position, we have the Nine of Pentacles, so more Virgo energy here. So we do see some growth from the 8 that we saw on the foundation. But another thing that comes to mind with this card for me, and only on occasion, depending on what else we see going on in the spread, this could be, again, that same theme that I was talking about, right? Where we see she has her right hand on those 6 pentacles, which could just represent, okay, a certain level of success and progress, right? A balanced situation. So, for example, if it's a traditional career, you can always depend on a certain amount of money coming every month, right? And then we see on the other side, there's the 3 pentacles, so obviously less than the 6. But we also see that bird, which could represent freedom. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I got blurry there. So, see the 3 pentacles on the side with that bird that could represent more freedom. So you could be saying, okay, well, I could have the security and stability that I have in my current field, or I can move to something new where maybe there's not as much security, but at the same time, you might feel like there's more freedom to do what you want. So that could be, again, the decision that you're trying to weigh right now. And if anything, this could also just be saying to try to get out in nature, and that might actually help you make that decision. All right. In the near future position, we have the Ten of Swords. So yeah, to me, this represents you guys actually coming to the end of that thought process. So I feel like you will be making a decision this month. At least the majority of you will. Of course, this Ten of Swords card does look ominous, but yeah, for me, this is how I'm seeing it, given what we've talked about up to this point. I feel like this is more representing you guys finally putting those thoughts to rest and actually moving forward and taking action, whatever direction you decide to go in. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Tower and the Queen of Cups. So we did see the Cancer energy show up in your dice as well, and we see Cancer energy here. For some of you, there could possibly be a decision to make a move. So maybe some of you will be physically moving. And maybe that's what it is too, right? Maybe the environment that you find yourself in, I wouldn't say you find it to be toxic, but maybe a bit stagnant, right? Where you're like, okay, yeah, I've done everything there is to do in this area, right? Maybe you're just looking for something fresh as far as a change of scenery in that regard. But at the same time, you could have a lot of, sentimental ties to where you're currently living. So that could have been the back and forth push pull dynamic that a lot of you are feeling. But with the Tower coming up here, I feel like this is saying for the majority of you may actually be able to finally make that move. Now, for others of you, this could just also represent possibly being a bit closed off emotionally as well. Maybe you're not communicating to others around you what you are feeling around this decision. So when you finally do make that decision, that could come as a surprise to those around you. All right. In the environment position, we see the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, if this represents someone else in your environment where maybe they've been a bit wishy-washy and indecisive, I feel like this is saying that Tower could impact them for sure. Because keep in mind, the cards here represent your influence on the situation. So that's why I feel like this is more of you guys would be causing that Tower moment as opposed to feeling like you're on the receiving end of it. But with the Two of Pentacles here, if it's saying that you've had someone else in your environment who's been a bit wishy-washy around something, it could just be saying that that would come as more of a shock to them when you finally decide that you're just going to move on from the situation. Now, like I said, this clearly could be some of you as well, where we saw that Two of Swords energy in the past, and this could again be you trying to decide between those two options, right? Maybe you have the more stable, secure career path you've been on, and you might have something that's a little bit more risky, but at the same time, it would speak more to you on a spiritual level. So you could just be going a bit back and forth on what to do with that. For some of you, could just even be saying that you might be trying to do both for the time being until you feel comfortable making a decision. So that's what I see there too. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Nine of Swords. So I feel like this is saying this is probably a hope of yours that to actually, be able to leave those, sleepless nights behind if you've been having a lot of anxiety and really overthinking the situation. If that's the case, given that we do see the 10 in the near future, I do feel like you guys are definitely moving in that direction. But yeah, that's what I see there. And in the outcome position, we have the Eight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, and the Two of Cups. So this is Cancer energy here too, by the way. So again, we see that coming up for you. But yeah, this could just be saying you guys putting yourselves out there, right? So just a few generic ways this could play out. Maybe this represents you guys traveling, since this is Sagittarius energy, and which is for you guys is your ninth house. So maybe getting in those fresh environments could actually have you feel like you're meeting people with like minds, where you feel like you're on the same page with each other. Of course, this can represent a new romantic connection because, like I said, if you've been in a connection that you feel like it's just been stagnant and you felt like you've needed to leave it behind, and with that Ace of Cups showing up in the challenge, I feel like it was saying for some of you, if that was your situation, that if you actually do cut cords in that previous connection, that would clear up the blockage that's preventing something new from coming your way. So that could just represent that if you do finally make that move, you would see a new connection come your way soon. And especially given that we do see that lion head there too, could definitely be representing that this would happen during the Leo season, of course. And then, of course, this is fire energy too, so that could point to that as well. Let me see if anything else comes to mind with this. Yeah, it could just represent partnerships in general. Like I said, this Venus energy here, Venus will be in your sixth house the first half of the month, then it's going to move into your opposite sign of partnerships and relationships. So that could definitely bring a new connection there too. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. For a lot of you, I feel like this is around business situations as well. So it could just be a positive partnership in that area as well. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands. So this is actually a pretty celebratory energy here. This is Leo energy as well. So for some of you, this could happen earlier in the month of August, given that this represents the middle 10 degrees of Leo energy. But yeah, just in general, I feel like this is saying you guys might be getting some positive attention around any shifts that you're making in your lives. And beneath that, we actually see the Three of Cups too. So another celebratory type energy there too. All right, moving on to your Oracle card, we have Mending. There's the artwork, and the number is 52. So let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. The Oracle's message. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal. The pain, the memories, the echoes of resentment, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. So, definitely a pretty positive message there, and that does take me back to what I was saying for some of you in the main situation position, that for some of you with that Six of Cups energy we saw could just represent you guys actually reconnecting with people from your past that maybe you hadn't seen for a while, because again, maybe you had a singular focus. Like I said, for some of you could have even been addictions or something along those lines. Could just be you guys coming back and making amends in that regard. So hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. So, I didn't necessarily see a huge relationship vibe in this thing. Like I said, for most of you, I feel like this is more financially um, aimed as far as the reading goes, but hopefully that resonated with you, and we will be doing the love readings next week too. All right. And the prosperity message says everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realize that in chasing after a pretty shiny thing, you lost sight of the long term sustainable prosperity. Sometimes you make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. It's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone you may have hurt along the way, especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now that much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that really fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from this perspective. So, pretty positive message there. And like I said, what stands out to me is we do see that growth from the Eight of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles, which doesn't sound like a huge jump, but given the reading as a whole, it looks like you guys will be moving in a positive direction as far as that goes this month. All right. And lastly, we have a Mudra card for you guys. So the Mudra you got this month is here. It's the Pralamba Mudra, and the keyword for it is benevolence. All right. And there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says opens the heart, calms the spirit, awakens feelings of devotion and compassion, benefits the cardiovascular system by lowering blood pressure, reduces anxiety, and weakens ego grasping. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. Wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.